Welcome viewers to InBusiness. As you know, tourism sector is now booming. The season has started, and people from, especially from domestic, tourists, they have started coming to Goa. Not only that, we had chartered touching down at the W airport. About 159 passengers landed in Goa, and it is good thing that Goa is having a business which was affected by pandemic for long time. This is happening, the charters are landing after 20 months. So there was no foreign tourist here during that period. So to talk about all these things, we have an expert, the president of the Travel and Tourism Association of Goa, that is TTAG, Mr. Nilesh Shah. Mr. Nilesh Shah, welcome to this program.
Thank you.
First and foremost, tell us something what TTAG stands for and what is the body all about?
In fact, TTAG is an apex tourism body in Goa, which was formed way back in 1977. Initially, it was called Travel and Tourism Club, and as the charter movement and as tourism picked up, somewhere in 95-96, the change to TTAG. So we are almost 44 years going strong in Goa. It is only apex body in India which represents all segment of tourism. It may be the hotels, right from 1-star to 5-star or 5-star deluxe, travel agents, tour operators, airlines, your event people. So in short, all segments of the industry can become the part of TTAG. Only criteria is that they should have official travel and tourism, Goa tourism license, along with of course other documents to become a member. And it has played a vital role in the last 44 years. And whatever position TTAG is having, that is thanks to the past presidents and past members who have put in lot of efforts in communicating continuously with the government and reaching in this position. As a TTAG, we are representing many of the government bodies. It may be your GTDC board, it may be your pollution control and other various bodies. So basically, TTAG takes up the issue of the tourism sector in Goa. Besides that, it facilitates the communication between the government and the industry, so that the whatever challenges which are faced by the industry are taken up on war footing, and it can be addressed to see that the industry prospers, because unless industry prospers, government cannot prosper, or government cannot come out with the schemes or pay the salaries, because ultimately if you see, there are a lot of schemes which are been operated by the government, and they require revenue, and the revenue will come from the industry. It may be tourism, or for that matter any other industry. And tourism being a major industry in Goa, it is in forefront to in the all government thing, because it employs people. Almost 1,40,000 people directly, indirectly employed in tourism industry. So if you multiply with the family members, almost 6 lakhs people depend directly or indirectly on tourism industry.
So how many TTAG members are there in?
We have there are many people who have 2 to 3 establishments, but we have almost 300 plus and going strong. And basically the idea behind in the TTAG specifically is to see that the challenges which are faced, because what happens, in Goa being a Navy airport, we always had the challenges of landing slots, or for that matter with this pandemic situation has changed. So we have a lot of challenges of restarting, rebooting the industry. So with all those things, I think with the help of the industry stalwarts and the people who are doing business for years together, we need to convey to the stakeholders and the government also that ultimately the livelihood also is very important.
On this note, I would ask you another questions on that follow-up question, is that responsible tourism is also very important. We have seen people throwing beer bottles and glass bottles on the beaches, which is dangerous actually. And we have beach cleaners who are doing their job well enough. But how long? I mean, what is the enforcement agencies who are supposed to make sure that those elements are fined heavily or whatever? Some law enforcement has to be done for that. What is happening on that front?
Vikanji, I absolutely agree with you that because responsibility tourism is a way forward. So I would like to divide responsibility into two layers. One is as a stakeholder, what are our responsibilities, and as a tourist, what are their responsibilities. As far as stakeholder is concerned, we have to see that as we are in the COVID times, to see that the COVID protocols are followed to the fullest. When we are talking about as a tourism industry, I am talking about responsibility of each smallest denomination. When customer comes in, tourist should not be free. So taxi comes into the picture. So there has to be transparency. There has to be a proper pricing. Customers should not feel cheated as far as that part is concerned. Secondly, the people who are coming into Goa, that is because of the friendliness nature of Goans per se. So that we are missing out on that part.
But also the taxi walas becomes the first ambassador of Goa.
Absolutely, absolutely. So in fact, that first impression is the last impression. So we need to change there. We like it or we don't like it, and there has to be because one thing be very clear, there is a tremendous opportunity for any one of us, but it's only the hard work which pays. It cannot be that I have 1 or 2 customers a day or 3-4 big customers in a week and I will lay back and do it, because today the world is of the competition. So that responsibility is from our side. Secondly, when customer walks in, he should get the value for the pricing what he is paying. Thirdly, we have to see that the environment in the industry wherever they are working, it's safe. As far as the tourist is concerned, the main thing comes into the behavior of the tourist, because tourist also has to understand that tourists are coming to see the Goan culture. It is not only sun, sand and sea which has brought to Goa to this thing. Goa has a unique culture which has a blend of Western and Indian culture. Secondly, we have to maintain that so that only the customers will come in. Otherwise, there is what else? They can get certain things at certain places also.
So who's going to build the cat?
That's true. So main thing is from government side, now they have to come out with this tourist police. So there has to be proper enforcement, and it has to be transparency, and there has to be more friendliness towards from their side also. Because when tourist is coming, he is coming on holiday mood. So there may be a lacuna from their side, but we have to make them understand as far as COVID protocols are concerned, that they have to follow the COVID protocol, and we have to continuously keep reminding. Secondly, this challenge is of this beer bottles and the cans which we see on the beach. Now, if you see, when you enter the beach only on the certain major beaches, you have liquor shops. Now, the responsibility has to be given to them, that that proper signages are put in, that it is not advisable going on the beach with the drink and throwing the bottles there, smashing them. So the awareness is the key, because we live in democracy, so we are not able to implement it. Like if you see our PM's Swachh Bharat mission, it has taken a time. Now people are realizing, and we'll see the actual impact in next generation. So it is a continuous process. We have to keep reminding. Fining, we have to start fining people. And secondly, the behavior people who are misbehaving, they should be taken care by the police, the tourist police which we have. Because that is only way which will take it forward. Because what has happened is that if you see most of this beach in North Goa, to be named specifically the Kalanguta Baga, we Goans don't visit those beaches anymore, because the type of crowd which comes in, which is very disturbing to the local culture and local this thing. And this is also happening if you see to certain temples or churches also in Goa.
So what measures are you taking to educate them on this?
See, basically what we have to do is, our request to the government is that the entry point, there has to be do's and don'ts, signages or leaflets to be given, or some process wherein these are the things which we need to do it. And this can be done only with the friendly approach, because if you see, by the last, people are coming throughout India or throughout the world into it because we are following certain discipline. It's not that we are not following the discipline, but at certain segment, wherein like people coming on the roads of by tempo travelers and those jeeps, and these are all basically all stacks coming in, and these are people who are little bit creating nuisance in the environment. So what one suggestion was they can have a camping facility. We have so many fields, we have one crop a year, and in monsoons they can have a crop, and they can be designated as a camping site in the season time, where they could be charged. There could be proper locker rooms and the other facilities, and be it that way. But then if they don't, and if we don't have facilities, then we will see this kachara everywhere. And secondly, we have been overall insisting that there should be changing rooms, clock rooms at the different beaches in Goa or different tourist spots in Goa, which are happening and which are come up in quite, and they need to be maintained to have a proper cleanliness system in Goa. But the crowd which is coming in, it is difficult to control this crowd coming by bus, but we can definitely regulate them by having certain rules and regulations, that this is the camping facilities, you are not able to cook on the road. If you are going to drink and drive, these are the fines which you will have to face. So the educating and enforcing the rules in right spirit, I think that is only way forward in this. Otherwise we will just talk, but nothing will happen.
That is what we cannot segregate tourists on whether they
absolutely
come walking, bus, car, aircraft,
absolutely.
By sea.
Absolutely. And just for your knowledge sake, now over the years, Goa has as a destination has a we have welcomed right from maybe people from 1 star to 5 star. So even lower segment hotels are there. We have that infrastructure. So where these people will go if you say that you want particular type of tourist? It is that there is infrastructure for that people with today maybe 100 rupees is maybe a 2 million, but people with 500 rupees also can stay in lodging in Goa. No. And people with 50,000 have also a thing, and they can have their way of enjoyment in the same level which they have come to Goa. So there is an infrastructure in place for everyone. So we cannot shy away that we don't want particular type of tourists coming. But yes, we need to regulate. We have to think out of box, and we have to keep educating, because that is only way forward. So whenever we are doing promotions, there also we need to say that this will be the protocol which they need to follow when they are coming. And I think that is the only way forward, and that is the only way everybody will prosper, and everybody, smallest denomination of the industry, will get the benefit of the tourism industry.
And tell me, pandemic had hit badly in Goa, and so was tourism. What was the estimated loss for the stakeholders this time?
To be frank enough, it's difficult to assess, but if you see, most of the industry was closed down, everybody was into survival mode. So basically, it was how we are going to support our team members who are working in the industry.
So did government respect your demands like license?
Basically, again there are two parts. One is in the first wave and second wave. And the first wave, there was nothing much which was done, which we got more benefit from the center government in form of loans, at of course at special rate and all those things. Our continuous with them, they have now reduced the license fee of tourism for certain category of hotels and tour operators, but they already have increased to such an extent so that difference does not make much of a difference. Our request for excise waiver did not come through, but yes, on ease of doing business, there were certain things which were welcoming, like we have now excise which can be for 5 years license. Then we had a request that the licensing should be made more easier for liquor. So that is little bit looked into it. Tourism license is now for 5 years. Then on the certain shacks, they have given 50% of discount for this year. So certain things have been taken care of. But overall as an industry, our focus was, when the industry went into standstill, that they should allow us to do business, because what happens, the government can do up to a particular limit, but beyond that everybody has to survive on their own. So unless you allow us to do business, it will be very difficult. Yes, before I forget, they have given one thing which people should take benefit up to. If you have a 25 lakh working capital, then they are giving interest subvention up to 5%, maximum up to 62,500. which scheme was from 1st April till 30th September. So, now you can apply and claim that interest. It is a very simple process where they have to go to the bank and say that this is what you have paid, and the money will come directly into your account. Secondly, as far as charter is concerned, they have given the 1 lakh lending fee benefit for the promotion of that. So, that's little bit things have come in, but main thing is being allowing to do the business will take us long way. One more thing I would like to inform you that all verticals of industry are still not open or thriving, like outbound tour operators, standalone travel agencies, they are suffering quite a lot, because unless
We'll come to this after the short break here. So, thank you viewers for having listened to our program. We'll continue to talk to Mr. Nilesh Shah just after a short break. Please stay with us. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you for staying with us. We are talking to the TTAG President, Mr. Nilesh Shah. Mr. Shah, tell me, the charter have started landing, and this is the first charter which landed on 15th of December, and more to come. And 159 passengers came out, and they would be enjoying Goa very soon. And what we see is Omicron has also hit different parts of the country, world. That is, about 60 countries have been affected by it. And you know, we are told that it spreads quite fast. So, do you think it is important for us to open up our windows for international tourists right now? And second, and corroborative to that, I would like to ask you whether these tourists, whether domestic or international tourists, are they following the COVID protocol or not?
on question of on the charter tourists, in fact, it is a welcome step, because the one segment of industry, as I was talking earlier, was a tour operator, inbound tour operator, which were suffering, along with the travel fraternity, which is still suffering in Goa, and it will take a while before they start making some money, because they are on the survival mode. One thing is very clear, that COVID is here to stay. So, let us be very clear, and we have to learn to do business with COVID around. And as an industry, we have learned to certain extent that, you know, what need to be done to survival, because nobody wants to go into the lockdown mode. So, basically, after understanding that COVID is here to stay, certain protocols need to be followed, we like it or we do not like it. And with the vaccination around, wherein our most of the population which are allowed to vaccinate 18 and above have been vaccinated, I think we are quite confident that we will overcome this present situation. As far as, unless what happens is any business, how long you can keep it closed. So, basically, with the outbound starting in, the shacks will start getting businesses. Hotels, smaller hotels which depend on this business will start getting business, and indirectly you will have a rippling effect right from your fish vendors to your vegetable supplier to musician, guides, everybody will get business, and that is required, so that, you know, these people also start getting the share of tourism pie, because it is going to be very difficult to say that when COVID will end, and this is a revolving process. And if you see the more data which is come in, I think that it is quite controllable, and it is not way it has to be made out to be, at least it looks on the paper. As far as the government of India is concerned, they have divided into two, that is a red zone and the other thing. Like the people coming from European countries are red zone. So that was one of the reasons why the UK charter they have postponed till 28th of January, because they need to do testing, everything fine, but they need to be quarantined once they land here. But as far as the Tajikistan is concerned or Russia is concerned, they are not in red zone. So that they can do the test, come here, and they will do their thermal screening, and at random they will do the test, and if found to be positive, the precautions will be taken. So I think we have a system in place. First chart is just landed today, as you are aware. We'll have to see how it evolves and how are the things we are able to handle the situation and comment on it. Now, if you see as far domestic is concerned, we already have past pre-COVID figures. Pre-COVID, we had 80 flights a day. We already have 90, 95 flights on certain days coming into Goa as far domestic is concerned. And we are able to manage domestic tourists quite well, the authorities at the airport and overall it's quite well. So, I think with the charters also coming in, I think we should be able to handle, and I think we are geared up because we know what are things we need to do right, and that is the only way forward for sustainability of the tourism industry in Goa.
But do you think the tourists who come here, they are following strictly the COVID protocol and maintaining social or what we call physical distancing?
As I said earlier, see, tourists come on holiday. So, it will be the duty of the authorities and the stakeholders, like tourism industry per se, it may be a hotelier or it may be a travel agent or it may be the airline for that matter, to keep them reminding that you may be on holiday, but you are on the COVID environment and COVID is here to stay.
So, who is going to speak to them?
So, continuously the messaging has to go from our side, because messaging has to go from the government, from the stakeholder, from the different authorities, that if you need to wear a mask, you have to sanitize your hand, wherever possible keep your social distancing, and this is a continuous process. This cannot stop till this COVID is there, and this process I personally feel we need to follow. Maybe another earlier 1 year back we are saying 2-3 years, again we are saying another 2-3 years. So, this is a new normal. So, one thing we have to understand, this is new normal and this is a continuous process. So, we had requested government to put all signages throughout at tourist posts. We have seen at certain places, but more need to be done, because that awareness and the messaging is only way forward, because tourist will going to flout because he is on the holiday mode, and it is as a responsible people or people in the industry who wants them to be safe and we to be safe, people who are working in the industry to be safe. We have to keep reminding, please follow the protocols, please wear the mask, wherever possible start sanitizing everything. So, I will just give one example what hotel industry is doing. Like certain hotels, people when they enter, they they are sitting near the swimming pool or everybody with the mask. So, there is quietly with the bell or something, they put that message, please you wear a mask, please keep social distancing, please sanitize your hand. They roam around in the area if it is
but
a resort.
The swimming pool is a dangerous place.
No, because I think they have proven all those things. You know, there are certain protocols need to be followed. Even the people like to sit near the swimming pool, and they with the chlorine around, I think they have overcome that certain fears which were there earlier. They are no more, and the protocols have been taken as per the norms which are required. So, they keep reminding them this is the thing. So, these are small bit. We have suggested that there has to be a mass wave, like anybody going in the Panji municipality or corporation or in the panchayat level, they can have a because ultimately they are giving the revenue to all the government authorities. They can have a particular half an hour a day where they give free mask who are not wearing the mask. You can keep giving them a mask, start finding who are not wearing mask. So, basically it is like carrot and stick and continuous awareness, that is only way forward in this.
No, my deeper question was that is it important enough to bringing tourists from foreign countries right now, when about Omicron, if I am talking about, is spreading quite violently and in European countries, as well as you already mentioned UK also, and there are reported deaths in UK. So, is it important enough, or is it mandatory for us to bring in those tourists and risk our Goan lives?
Now, as I said earlier also, we are double vaccinated. We are following the protocols. Right from the all these do's and don'ts, livelihood is also very important. And people are suffering. We like it or we don't like it, we are suffering. Industry is suffering. Certain segment of our industry are suffering very badly.
What is the business loss percentage wise?
Percentage wise, like hotel industry per se, the star category hotels, because they reduce the rates, their occupancy is good. So, they have lost 3-4 months, but they are doing quite okay. They are doing occupancy of maybe 80%, 90%, not an issue. But the smaller hotels, the pricing has fallen drastically. So, many of the hotels, small hotels, they have not started back because in that pricing they may not able to survive. But with the charter starting in, it is opportunity to start them. Like shacks, many of them shacks closed earlier because there were no foreign tourists on this. So, that industry will help the people working in that industry will get that little bit of business. Thirdly, if you actually try to analyze things up, we have managed overall COVID situation quite well, and I personally feel, I think we have to look into positive side of it, that we have done good and definitely will able to manage the way things coming. Now I will come on one question on that one. Take question of China. Now you look into it that they kept it close, or Australia kept it close. Now China, I believe that alpha variant wave is come now. So closing the borders are not the solution, which WHO has also said, because ultimately it is going to spread. So if you go to see, we are better off. Maybe it was bad wave, but few months back there was sero survey done in the Delhi and other places. 95% people already had got antibodies. So looking into that, I think we are on safe zone, and we'll have to react to the situation as and it comes, because we are staying in dynamic world. Let's be very clear.
So how do you see this season coming up in Goa? How would you evaluate or predict that how it is going to be?
To be frank enough, the certain segments are doing quite good, excellently. It may be the wedding events guys, especially 5-star hotel category, they are doing extremely well business. Casino industry is also doing, they are getting good footfalls, and with that, Inn and Hotel in Panjim are doing 85-90% business in the weekends, and otherwise they are crossing 75-80. Though, yes, though corporate movement has not started. If you see the taxi, all are busy, you don't see anybody into that. So overall situation looks quite good. But with the charter coming in, that will be a added thing, wherein the certain segments which were not able to operate will start getting the businesses, and it will help them in the survival of this pandemic. After all these segments, if you look into our charter side, it will be only one segment which will be still suffering in the tourism, will be a travel segment. It's travel and tourism industry that will suffer, because especially on the standalone travel agency in Goa, which they do on little bit of excursion, they do cater to Goan crowd. Maybe they are doing their ticket tours abroad, or ticketing here, and people in Goa also. Everybody has coming to Goa, so we have a less population, people going from outside Goa. So overall, that segment is still suffering. But if you see overall, the favorite destinations of Indians right now is Goa, because people can't go abroad, or there are limited options going abroad. So I think overall industry, you can say it is already gone from the survival mode to revival mode.
On this note, we'll have to end this program because we are completely running out of time. Thank you very much, Mr. Nilesh Shah, for giving your time to InBusiness and to Herald TV. Thank you so much for your presence here.
Thank you, Vikant.
Thank you, viewers, for watching this program. I hope you got lots of content here to think about and to discuss on. This is your host, Vikant Sahai, signing off.